No, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, we're coming from a very energetic weekend, as we mentioned before, the weekend of Yud Shvat, the 10th of Shvat, the day of the passing of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, and Motzei Shabbos, Sunday, the receiving of the leadership. The Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach took upon himself and received upon himself the leadership of the of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, the entire Jewish nation, and basically, as Melech HaMoshiach, the leadership of the entire world, being the spiritual force to go and to give the instruction and the guidance and the rulership, literally, as we will be saying immediately now, B'teiv Anir V'Nigla, on a good and revealed basis, with our eyes of flesh and blood. There was a women's Farbrengen here in Sfas, and they invited a very special. Speaking of women, we have a woman coming from Miami, Florida. The woman that arrived, the keynote speaker for the women last night was a Rebbetzin Pizem, of whom I think Mushka, her name is, of whom whose husband I know personally as a bacher back in our days studying in 770, and they are the shliach. She is her family is the shluchim in the city of Sederot. Sderot, as we know, has a has a mark in history during and at the beginning of the October 7th war. The Hamas came, they invaded, and they took over the police station over there. The atrocities that occurred there were terrible. But nevertheless, Baruch Hashem, we were able to go into to clear everything out and to bring the situation. It's hard to say back to normal, but to bring the situation under control. The shlucha, Rebbe Tzimpism, told about a woman who had a connection with the mikveh in Sderot. She was a volunteer. And she would go and she would make sure that everything that that a women's mikveh needs in order to go and to make it glorified and beautiful and appropriate for the daughters of the king should be there. She would make sure that if something needs to be cleaned, she would clean it. She would bring special plants to go and to adorn the outside of the mikveh to make it special, and she went and did this totally on a voluntary basis. And she tells us that the following story came that Shabbos, the 7th of October, was Simchas Torah, and she was walking with her 10 grandchildren. This woman, not the shlucha, not Rebbetzin Pism, but this woman was walking with her 10 grandchildren, and as she was walking by the mikveh, which is literally a stone's throw from the police station that the terrorists went and took over, so came this giant of a person. He was from the special forces of the police, and they're like very, very well built, and they're very tall. And she encounters this fellow with all her grandchildren, and he tells them, he tells her calmly but sternly, "Lady, take yourself and your children immediately out of here. There's going to be an enormous battle here." And she didn't know what he was talking about. She had no idea that there were terrorists that entered Sderot. The only thing she knew was that there were sirens. Now, people in Sderot, unfortunately, are very used to Rahman Litzlan, Hashem should watch over us. They're used to the sirens because they know that there are barrages of missiles that come from Gaza, and they know that immediately the sirens are sounded, and they know that they have to go to a protected place. But something like this, there's going to be a battle. She couldn't understand what this person was talking about. And only after Simchas Torah, literally, she started to understand what the policeman was talking about. And she was still under the impression that this policeman came from out of the blue, from nowhere, like Eliyahu Hanovi, to go and to save her. She was right next to the mikveh. She was going by with her grandchildren. And it was the schus of the of the work that she would do as a volunteer for the mikveh that saved her and her grandchildren that Simchas Torah. The story continues. If anyone knows what happened, in order to go and to get to recapture and get to get a hold of the police station in Sderot, the terrorists were bunkered in, really bunkered in, because the police station is built to go and to withstand missile fire. So it was almost impossible on a regular basis to go into to recapture and to get hold of the police station. And what they had to do was they had to come and bomb it from above, and the entire police station was devastated. Everything. It was like down to the ground. Rahman litzlan. And this was together with the terrorists. Some of the whatever terrorists were there were killed, and that was the end of the end. That was how this episode with the police station finished, but it didn't finish. A month and a half later, after this episode, so the shliach Rabbi Pism decided that since there was such an occurrence that happened, a devastating occurrence that happened in the police station of Sderot, so he felt that it would be appropriate and it would be the right thing to do to go and to print a Tanya in the new police station that was going to be built, was going to be rebuilt, and so on. Now, during the entire time that this is going on, a month and a half afterwards, they encountered the people, the municipality center in Sderot encountered a very challenging situation, not with the building of this police station, but with the sewerage. It was floating. I mean, the water was coming up. It was very difficult to handle, and at the beginning they started to dig manually with workers, but they couldn't find the source of the problem, so they brought bulldozers to go and to dig up the rubble in order to get to the sewerage pipes, to see how they can fix the sewer that's really it's coming up. As these bulldozers are digging, and on the other side of the building that used to be a building, the police station, so Rabbi Pism is standing there with the printing machine, and there's a whole crowd that's gathered around in honor of the printing of the Tanya at the police station of Sderot. The bulldozers, as they're digging up, they find a dead body of a terrorist that wasn't. They didn't even know that he was there. When that happened, all the television stations all of a sudden swarmed over to the police station, and they started to go in to do the coverage, not of what? Of the fact that they were digging up the police station and they found the dead terrorists of the Hamas, Yimach Shmam Zichram. But then, as the security forces are coming, because this triggered an alarm. You're digging up a dead body of a terrorist. You find a dead. So the security forces, the army, the police, everyone was there, and all of a sudden, the police and the security forces, they're looking on the other side of the building. They're saying, hey, "Wait a second, what is this guy doing here?" He's standing there, big smile, Chabad rabbi, and everyone's standing around him, and they have pages from the freshly new printed Tanya, and he's learning with like some, like maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 people. They're learning Tanya. It was a very big thing because people took this personally, because this is a place where, on a natural base, is supposed to be the place that people are protected. This is the police station, and this was the place that the terrorists devastated, and that had to be the entire station had to be blown up. So the TV and the radio, instead of continuing to cover the coverage of the dead terrorists, they went over to cover the printing of the Tanya. And they said, what is this all about? And how did this occur? Why are you here? And he explained that this is an instruction of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach in order to go and to bring about the protection of the city. And this is something that we're doing especially after what happened previously on October 7th. and the heads of the police were there also, and they said that they're taking upon themselves that there's going to be a Tanya class, a weekly Tanya class in the police station that Bezos Hashem will be rebuilt. They're making a weekly Tanya class, and it already began there at the printing and in the temporary structure that they placed the police force in till the new police station will be built. So when we're talking about miracles, and when we're talking about outright miracles of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, who would dream that a printing of the Tanya would be the headlines in comparison to the it's like Ze Lu'umma Ze Asa Elokim. Hashem created the evil opposite the greatest light and the greatest goodness. And this is something that we're, unfortunately, with all the great goodness, we're experiencing the darkness. But this is exactly where the light and the great light of Mashiach, we're told, is going to come forth and grow from the darkness itself. And this is what David HaMelech tells us. Habayteach ba'Hashem chesed yisovaveno. The person that trusts in Hashem, we will be encompassed with chesed, with the kindness of Hashem. This is the greatest protection and the greatest energy and force that exists in the world, that's giving life force to the entire creation. And therefore, we should know that there's nothing to be afraid of, and we have to go into promote and to propagate the concept of nothing to be afraid of. But all the other people in our environment, whether it's here in Eretz Yisrael or outside in the diaspora, this is what everyone has to build their trust and our trust and our emunah and our belief in Hashem. And this is what's going to finally bring, just like it brought the great trust and the emunah in Hashem, like we read in last week's parsha, that we were commanded to take the Paschal offering 4 days in advance and to tie it to our bedposts. And what was the purpose? So that the Egyptians will come and see. They will come and see that what? That Hashem is, and when Moshe Rabbeinu speaks the word of Hashem, he's serious. And that caused the civil war in Egypt itself. Lemakeh Mitzrayim b'choreihem. He who smote the Egyptians through their firstborn. And Kenti Yelanu, by the way, everyone maybe it does know or doesn't know, but things are very hot in the north, especially in Lebanon. But it's not hot because of the fact that the Lebanese, the Hezbollah, wants to go into to attack, but it's because the Lebanese want to go and fight the Hezbollah. They say that they don't want to have a second show of how Lebanon was going to be devastated. They already went through it once and twice already, the two Lebanon wars. And this is exactly the miracle that we're experiencing now. Kenti Yelanu, it shouldn't have to be with wars, but whatever Hashem plans, the main thing is that it should bring the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach on a good and revealed basis, mitoch simcha v'tuv levav, through joy and happiness of the heart, and it should be teichef umiyad, mamish, immediately now. Yechi Adonenu, Morenu v'Rabbeinu, HaMelech HaMoshiach le'olam voed.